Welcome back to stage 5 of the 2023 Phil Price Memorial Woodpecker Stages Rally. I'm pleased to say that after a bit of a gap to recover the couple of cars, Liam Clark in that Fiesta R2 that went off, and Cyril Crook in the rear-wheel drive Astra, they were just, it made sense to get those cars out of the way. They were in quite hot places for following crews. Great job from the stage commander to make that decision to quickly get the cars out of the way, because as you can see, that would have been very close to where that Fiesta was poking onto the stage there as Kevin Metcalf and Lucy Gutterish come through in their E30. So great job by the recovery team in that glorious Rabbit recovery Unimog. Do like Unimogs. Probably cost about 200 quid in fuel to recover those cars, to be fair. But no, good job from those guys to get it moved quickly and get things back underway. We were going to go live for the Gold Star, but we thought, you know what? No, let's go live for every single car that we can. So we just stuck the live stream back on so we could get you as much action as possible live from these glorious sunny stages here in mid Wales. So at the moment, Tony Simpson now leads the way in the R2 Rally Cup after 5 stages through here. Liam Clark, who was in that fight for R2 honours today and is in the championship fight as well with Robert Proudlock, and knows he's got to be careful now. As he said to us, he was the car that went off and has taken 2 non-finishes now, having taken a DNF at the Keel of the Forest stages as well. And there is Ewan Roberts and Daniel Jones in the G3 Escort. So Dylan Fowler-Bishop leads the way in the Fuchs Lubricants Bronze Stars at the moment. Chris Bush and Rob Jones behind them. Then it's Ashley Francis Adams and Tudor Jenkins. Lewis Hooper and Rhys Edwards in 4th in that category as things stand in their 1400S Micra. And it's Chris Greenall and James Greenall in 5th. As far as the Gold Star title fight is concerned, if you're just tuning, as we see our R2 Rally Cup leader Robert Proudlock, well actually it was Liam Clark leading into this round, but Robert Proudlock has more maximum scores when the drop points are taken into account. He will know now that Liam is out, and this is a chance for him to make up maximum points, and he'll want to overhaul Tony Simpson and Stefan Arndt from that first position in the R2 Rally Cup, because they are valuable points, particularly when your chief rival for the title is out and in the undergrowth. So as far as that overall fight for the Gold Star, well, we'll see from the Gold Star very shortly here in the 5th stage of the day. This is Cymraith Gowan. Phil Bramhill currently live in stage 6. Kerry, the stage hasn't run for decades over here in mid Wales, is back, and for the first time here on the Woodpecker stages. So we'll have the Gold Star cruise through, as it is now a 3-way fight for today. Aaron Newby, Jamie Edwards keeping. So just looking and realising that BMW we thought was flashing us earlier just has flashing headlights. Very bizarre. Aaron Newby in the Skoda just keeping Elliot Payne and Tom Woodburn at bay in the Rally 2 Fiesta. One more maximum score, to remind you, sees them as back-to-back champions here in the MRF Tyres BTRDA Gold Star Championship. So Aaron Newby just keeping the hopes alive, and Matthew Hurst and Declan Deere watching from home after having to pull the R5 and withdraw from the entry last night due to engine issues on the way to scrutineering. They will be watching and hoping that that title fight is alive for them to go to the track rod. Beth Cowan is cheering on Robert Proudlock. Great opportunity now for them, as Liam Clark is, or was off the road, has been recovered, but was off the road on this stage, so is out of that fight for the R2 Rally Cup. 2 rounds to go here in the BTRDA. It's far from sewn up in the other classes. Silver Star still wide open, although Robert Goff and Paul Morris retiring today does give Boyd Kershaw and Keegan Rees a bit of an advantage going into the final 2 rounds. If the Flying Kiwi can get a maximum score here, well, that makes things very tight. Hello to Mike Dorr, Martin Furburn, Mark Skinner, Rob Williams, Marcus Andrews, Lawson Fletcher says he was here. I was there, he says. What, on this corner? Junction 2 in stage 5? We're about a mile in, probably not even that, to this 5th stage of the day. 4.87 miles, Cometh Gowan. Then it's Kerry, Hopton, and then Hay Park, and then the cars will be making their way back to the finish. The first of the cars will arrive at about 5:30 to the racecourse in Ludlow. Andy Davis and Tom Murphy very sideways into there. Well, it wasn't bad, but Tom Murphy did comment on the last stream to say he'd seen where we were, and he'd pointed out to Andy Davison that actually there was plenty of room to do a donut in that Sunbeam VXR. But Davison has, and Murphy have the Silver Star
probably
in their sights.
Cut off by nearly going off up there.
They're still a contender, albeit more of an outside one than the other two competitors I mentioned just now. Probably a little bit put off by going so sideways at the top in the braking zone, coming down to this hairpin here in the 5th stage of the day. Lovely driving and nicely held by Davison. Dave Brick has, well, he's showing on the tracker as being back at the racecourse in Ludlow, so he has retired from today, which is disappointing, but it was good to see he was on the pace. Just a second ahead of Nigel and Kaz Jenkins before they frustratingly retired. As you see, Max Utting, Matthew Badley through this stage in the Fiesta ST. Lawson Fletcher, what happened to Perry Gardner? Gardner retired track control arm, I think it was, on the Fiesta R5, which is really frustrating for those guys. Runner-up last year's event, they were leading this rally here, looking to go one better from Aaron Newby and Elliot Payne, who of course are in that fight for the Gold Star title. So Perry Gardner retiring in only his 2nd rally this season, so gutted for him. He and Dale Bowen were going well, and it would have been a fair old victory, that, on home soil. Gardner, a name that we are surprised we haven't had out here competing for a full season in BTRDA this year. As you see, Richard Goff and Jez Rogers in that ex-Ari Vatanen Mark II RS 1800 in its Rothmans livery. What a glorious car to see out here competing. Multiple Woodpecker winner, Welsh champion in 1983 and 1997. Just think, that is an ex-Ari Vatanen car. Very exciting to see out here on these stages. What we're going to do after the two-wheel drive field have come through this stage, we're going to put the holding screen back on. Don't go anywhere, we'll have the Gold Star through the stage in short order following that. James Lepley and Simon Jones, first of the Lepley brothers out there doing the business on the stages today. George is back here in the BTRDA. It's exciting to say that. And he's in a Mitsubishi Galant VR4 in the historic category. So being historic, it does run within the two-wheel drive and historic field, which is slightly unusual. But there we go. Simon Jones, good to have you along with us. We're in stage 5, Cometh Gowan. We're about a mile in. We're at junction 2. Same stage we were in for the opening stage this morning, but we were a little further in. We were about a mile from the end earlier, mile or so, at junction 7. If you've got a map in front of you, you can probably get your bearings now. Lawson Fletcher, has anyone crashed? A few, yeah. A bit of a gap here while we had a crash earlier on. But we're not here for the crashes. We're here for the action. As you see, Gareth James and Stefan Evans making mincemeat of this hairpin down here. Don't underestimate the challenge of getting a car stopped, especially if it's hot on the pace into this downhill hairpin. You've seen a few people get it wrong. It's not an easy thing to do when the weight of the car shifts. Got to get it through that 3 left while you're trying to scrub off speed and plan your approach for the hairpin all at the same time, and that's why we have had a couple of cars off and down the bank there. Jordan, James Grattan-Smith, one of the British Historic Rally Championship crews, joining us here in the BTRDA here on this year's Woodpecker stages. Rory McCann currently leading the way in the Hillman Avenger of the historic crews that have got a time on the board. That will be set to change with the leading historic crews yet to come through, I would have thought. We are due Boyd Kershaw and Keegan Rees through. We haven't had them through this section of stage just yet. We should have had them through by now, but a few of the crews at this end of the field just running out of order. Glenn Thomas were third in the BHRC coming into this stage, and showing us exactly why they're throwing that Escort into this downhill section, getting on the power where many of the other competitors are on the brakes already, which is always impressive to see. Look at that. So yeah, just looking out for Boyd Kershaw and Keegan Rees. Is he showing on the tracker, producer Wayne? Because with Rob Goff and Paul Morris out of today's rally, as far as the Silver Star is concerned, it is a crucial opportunity for Kershaw and Rees to get some maximum points on the board.
At the end of the Hay Park stage, they've stopped.
Okay, it looks like Boyd Kershaw and Keegan Rees are actually out of this rally as well, which levels things off and gives Andy Davison in the Sunbeam BXR, who you saw through a few minutes ago, as you see Will Onions, David Williams. That's a really cool looking colour scheme, that Castrol colour scheme on that Mark II, isn't it? Some of these cars you will see on the Roger Albert Clark on our live coverage this year. So yeah, Boyd Kershaw, Keegan Rees showing on the tracker at least as being at the end of the Hay Park stage. We will be heading to the race course after the Gold Star and the four-wheel drive field have been through this fifth stage of the day. For 5:30 is when you'll first start seeing cars back at the race course in Ludlow for the finish. Will there be a championship champagne spraying moment for Elliot Payne and Tom Woodburn? Well, they've got 12 seconds to make up on Aaron Newby and Jamie Edwards to be sure of it. Adrian Hetherington and Ronan O'Neill, one of the British Historic Rally Championship crews, making their way through the hairpin here. Nicely done. Some experience at this end of the BHRC field, isn't there? So that's quite big news for the Silver Star if Boyd Kershaw and Keegan Rees are, as the tracker would suggest, stopped at the end of stage 4. Just going to try and bring up the retirements. I don't really relish having to scan through a retirements list, but yeah, Perry Gardner, Jack Bowen showing there as after stage 3 they bent the track control arm. We know about Robert Goff and Paul Morris, double puncture in stage 1. Yeah, we heard that. Dave Brick and Emma Clark had a fuel issue after stage 4 before they made it out to this stage. Liam Griffiths, Daniel Petrie had an issue after stage 2 with broken drive shaft. Nice Jenkins, Cuz Jenkins we know about. Freddie Brick, Toby Brick. It's not been a good day for the Bricks really, after showing that pace early on. Their course of retiring with the clutch after stage 3. We know about Ed James and Charlie Mason. Bob Gibbons, John Harris, we knew we'd missed them engine problem on that new RS 1600. And Damien Thomas, Fraser Moss. No brakes, no clutch. in the Super 1600 Peugeot. Right, we've got a red flag on the stage, and as you can see, the rescue crews are in. Hopefully nothing too serious. We're going to stop this stream because, as you can see, we have got a stoppage in the stage and we've got rescue crews in, which could be a lengthy delay. We hope to be able to bring you the Gold Star, as you see a Unimog drifting around the hairpin there. We hope to be able to bring you the Gold Star action very shortly from here. But obviously we need to let the marshals and the officials deal with whatever has gone on further into this stage. So we hope to be back with you shortly here in stage 5. Meanwhile, Phil Bramwell is live in stage 6 as we speak. Sorry for the disjointed coverage. We'll do our best to get things back up and running as the Gold Star come through here in stage 5 very shortly.